All right.
Eric, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
To BX3.
Yes.
We're happy to have you back. You're like a guest at this point.
I'm a guest, I know.
Well,
it's fine.
It's a podcast for us, by us. So
Yeah.
we're happy to have you and your knowledge and your expertise
Thanks.
back on the
Thanks
podcast.
for inviting me back.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, with all the awesome guests we've had, like I get it, right?
Yeah.
Like Eric has gone down on the list. It's completely fine.
I literally did. I was, hey, we have this podcast.
Oh, I love it. And I mean, the guests have been awesome. The panels were great. Like it was so cool.
It was so fun to do the panel, and I think the leaders really enjoyed it too. You know, they got to tell their story, and you know, we can't wait to do it again. You know, we're going to do another panel in the future. So if you're interested, you know how to get a hold of us.
Heck yeah.
So, Eric, what if I told you that the biggest tool to gain respect from your team is to admit when you're wrong?
Admit when I'm wrong.
Can you imagine?
I don't know if I've ever been wrong.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Never once. I'm actually a robot. I'm actually AI.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
It was honest. I don't know. Riley, I make mistakes all the time. My wife tells me that. My girls tell me that. I get it. Right. And you know, what's funny, you mentioned it's okay, or we make mistakes. I used to think it wasn't okay to make mistakes. It wasn't okay to drop the ball. And I know we've had some discussions around that, but you're right. You do gain a lot more respect by admitting when you dropped the ball.
Well, and that's the whole, vulnerability as a leader, like showing that. And I think that's shifted over time. Because like you just said, like it was no mistakes.
Yeah.
Perfection. And so how's that felt for you changing through those? Isn't it so much easier to just be like, oh, guys, I'm sorry.
Can I tell you though, like, you might think that or say that, but it is like you can walk with your head a little higher, right? Your shoulders a little bit, like you stand taller, right? Because when I do make mistakes, I'm okay with saying I've made those mistakes. I'm okay with saying I don't know. I'm okay with admitting if I've, hey, you're right, I did drop the ball, right? And it's funny because I think as a leadership team, we call each other out on that more even, right? And it's like, I know. Yeah. But I feel like ever since I've had more intentional conversations around those and being honest about those mistakes, I do feel like we as a team are more connected. Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like as our team admits to some of those failures, we as a team are more connected.
And it makes us stronger.
Yeah.
And newsflash, I don't know if you knew this, but
Sure.
but you are human.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep. I am human. I'm not AI. And so we do make mistakes. Things happen. You know, we had a leadership transition class last week, and we talked about that. Like, things are going to happen. But it's not the mistake that defines you. It's how you respond to the mistake.
Yeah. Because
some people make a mistake and they brush it on the rug and act like it never happened.
Yeah.
You're never going to grow as a leader with that attitude.
Well, can I tell you too? Like, you start lying, right? Like, let's face it, right? You're gonna make up something. You're gonna say something. You're gonna make an excuse for something. Like, hey, you're right. Like, well, you didn't tell me, or no, it's not. Yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
It's always them or they, or you kind of defer responsibility.
So in one hand, Eric, you're kind of lying to yourself, making excuses, but that's also setting the standard for the team that they can kind of get away with making mistakes and blaming other people. There's no accountability there.
Yeah.
So it's not only an accountability conversation, but also a trust and respect conversation.
Yeah. I would strongly agree with that. And it's okay to be vulnerable. And I think sometimes people think, well, if I'm too vulnerable, my team's going to think less of me. When in fact, like you said earlier, right in the beginning, it does build the trust more. It builds the respect more. It's owning that and moving on, because when your team does make a mistake, right, they know they can come to you because you are human and you've done the same.
And it's the same. It's opposite, right? If you're going to make excuses, blame other people, so is your team.
Right.
So let's talk about then what not to do when you make a mistake. So we just kind of high leveled it a little bit right there. But what else are we not supposed to do when we make a mistake?
You shouldn't avoid it. Don't avoid it. The longer you avoid it, the harder it becomes, right? And it's almost like the lie itself has become the truth to you, right? Or to the people. So I think just the sooner sometimes we attack those mistakes, those messes, the dropped ball, like, it's okay, right?
Maybe they'll forget about it. Like, they'll forget about the mistake that I made.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Right.
But what's funny is you say that, and we sometimes think that, like, okay, we'll just avoid it. We just won't talk about it. But then what happens like 3 months later?
You made another mistake?
Hey, no, well, I was going to go, and yes, probably, right? You actually do it the right way, and they're like, oh, wait, you messed that up 3 months ago, and now I remember. But like, I think sometimes rather we avoid the mistakes because we think if it's going to go away long enough that it will never come back. But I'm going to tell you, like, from just personal experience, from business experience, it always kind of circles back in some capacity.
Some way it's going to grow too.
And it does. Yeah. I just know, like, my wife, she hates lying, right? Like, but it's a great thing. Like, she hates it. So, like, if she ever tells, like, a small, like, fib or whatever, it's like, oh, she just can't.
Does she get, like,
oh, yeah. It's just, like, it's super obvious, right?
She's got to tell.
And
don't
I
play
think
her poker.
sometimes we don't realize that you have a tell or that I have a tell. Like, you all of a sudden you'll look up or you look around, and if you would have just told the truth, you wouldn't have to worry about holding that lie.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, too, when you're looking at mistakes that you've made, sometimes people will make a joke about it, right? Like, you almost pawn it off as like,
it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but that's not cool.
And that dismisses the feelings and how that lie or mistake impacted other people, your team, your leadership, the business.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah. But to them, like, let's just say it's money, right? Because this happens sometimes, right? Like, you said, oh, okay, I'll submit you for a raise, or I'll give you a raise if, or I'll do this if, and I'll make sure that you make more money. And then all of a sudden, a month or 2 or 3 pass, and then we haven't paid them more. People are remembering that. Like, they might not share it. They're just growing in anger, right? Or resentment, or looking at you like you're not the leader who I thought you were.
And what are they gonna do?
Yeah,
they're gonna leave.
They're gonna find somewhere else to be treated right. So I think sometimes, and then when you're too casual about these things, right, without clear, defined results or outcomes moving forward, when you don't really put your heart into it, it just, people are going to look at you like you're not as serious as I thought you would be, especially for something that they might consider serious. So I like what you said about feelings.
Yeah, because I mean, there's mistakes like I like the pay example, right? Yeah, because that's directly impacting me as a team member.
Yep.
But then there's other mistakes like food safety or fibbing on other things that that have way different consequences, and so that impact can fluctuate, but it's there, and so we need to be able to kind of address that. Yeah. So we got some steps that we want to cover here real quick.
And before we kind of go into the next one, I would just say, I know, Riley, like, and I'm still working on this, but I can get really defensive about my mistakes, and in a weird way, right? Where all of a sudden maybe you don't want to talk about it. Maybe you're just angry. Maybe you walk away, or maybe you just huff and puff and be like, you're like, I used to be super defensive.
Kind of just brush it off.
Yeah. Yep.
Not give it any light.
Yeah. And to your point about the way people feel or look at it, it might not be that you were wrong. It just might be that they see it differently. So, but yeah, I'd love to dive into just like, how do we actually make it right with people, or what are some of those things that we can do to make it right?
Yeah. So we've covered, what not to do. Yep. So don't joke about it. Don't dismiss it. Don't avoid it. Yep. Right. So we're going to actually do something about the mistakes that we make. And the first one is owning it.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't like it.
But owning it clearly too.
Okay.
So it's not just, again, like the joking, like, oh, my bad.
Sure.
It's hey, Eric, I'm so sorry I signed that quote that, cost us a little bit of money. Like being clear about it. Yeah. And then saying like, and obviously sometimes we can assume the impact, but assuming is not, we want to be curious, but we don't want to assume. So be like, what impact did that have on you? Well, Riley, you didn't look at the fine print. You didn't look at the details. You didn't look at these things that impacted the business in this way.
So you're saying if I made the mistake, I should really talk to you. Like, let's say you and I, and we're in this situation. So you're saying that I should ask you more about the impact that it had on you?
Absolutely.
What is that going to do?
Well, that's going to help you repair the trust, first of all, because it's showing that you actually care about what you did to that team member or that mistake that you made, and you're not brushing it under the rug or doing any of those things we told you not to do.
Sure, yeah.
So you're taking that accountability, you're owning it, and you're diving in and being like, how did my impact make you feel? Yeah. Because again, we can assume, oh, Eric's pissed. Signed that quote. Yeah. But maybe he just wants to coach me, and he wants to give me an opportunity to own it. Yeah. Yep. So that's kind of that middle step.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I think it's true. Like, sometimes people see a mistake as so detrimental, and me as a leader, I'm like, stuff happens, right? Like that's not a big deal,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. We're human.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I like that, getting a little bit of clarity, not just for ourselves in the mistake, but from our team member too, that might have been feeling a certain way about it. So that's good.
And we've talked about following up as a leader. Like again, your pay example.
Yep.
We got to do what we say as leaders. First of all, we have to have that follow through.
Yep.
But when we make a mistake, because again we're human, we just got to own it and say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
And the third step is repairing it. As a leader, trust is rebuilt by your actions and not what you say.
Yeah.
Because I can look at you all day and be like, sorry.
Yep.
But if I'm not going to change my behavior, if I'm not going to now look at that freaking fine print, then I'm not actually owning, I'm not finishing that process.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I think this happens in our restaurant teams quite often, right? Is we have repetitive mistakes, and I think that's what frustrates our leadership, or maybe the people that we're having these conversations, because it's like, how many times have we had this conversation before? Like, enough is enough. Like, so I think just having the agreed upon changes and the timeframes and what that looks like between the two parties is absolutely phenomenal, because I'm sure you've been there. Like, how many more times do I have to say this until I'm blue in the face?
Yep.
Right? Like all those different cliche comments that come out, and it's like action speaks louder. And I think that's ever true, especially when it comes to owning your mistakes and then doing something about it.
Doing something about it. Like, owning is a great first step.
Oh, you have to.
If you're a pathological liar, start there. Maybe just start.
Work on yourself a little there.
Owning it. Yeah. And then let's make it right. Let's repair that trust.
Okay, so making it right. Actions. We've kind of spoken about that, Riley, as far as like the actions that will make it right. I've had people who have wanted to say change their leadership style, right? Maybe they've been a jerk. I used to be like, and I've said this before, I was a terrible manager, right? I went up to the team and I said, hey, I want to be better. I'm working on myself. Please call me out whenever, right? Like, but that's me owning it, right? And that's me trying to fix it. And that's me trying to take the steps to make it right. But sometimes people are afraid to say, hey, I've made the mistakes, I want to do it. But all of a sudden they maybe come in one day and they're like, I'm just going to be a better leader. Maybe people will notice and maybe they'll forgive me. Why do we have to have the steps in this? Why do we have to own it, right? Why do we have to maybe ask about the impact? Why can't we just pretend and be better?
Well, because I think that while I think that's still the better option than nothing.
Nothing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, it's true.
It's true. But you're missing the whole point, because if you're not having that hard conversation, or that conversation where you're being vulnerable with the person who you might have wronged or made a mistake with, you're not actually closing that loop. You're getting better internally, which is great. Love that for you.
Yeah.
But you have to see that extra step, because that's really where the growth is.
Yeah.
The growth is owning up and speaking it, not just, oh man, I messed up, I'm gonna do better tomorrow. And you do better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Again, that's great.
Yeah.
But tell that person, or tell somebody, or whatever that looks like, hey, I messed up. Here's what I'm doing to fix it.
Yeah.
And do it.
And do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'll just help people not have the resentment, because we're all human, and by nature, right? I think we sometimes look for the negative, and sometimes we hold on to those things. And regardless of whether we want to or not, I think the conversations are worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you have those conversations, and when your team sees you having these conversations, you're leading by example too.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, I think you said at the beginning of the episode, like, your team might be more comfortable to come to you and be like, hey, I ordered too many nuggets.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oops. I know that cost us an extra, whatever it was, and I'm going to do better next time. You know, that's, now you've got your team. You're building a team that's vulnerable, and you're building a team that's going to own up to their mistakes. Yeah. Instead of them kicking it under the rug and you wonder why your results suck.
Right. From manager to leader, you gotta do the hard things, right? Do the things that are uncomfortable, and conversations around failure and dropping the ball isn't always the funnest, but I agree with you. I think owning it, right? Getting people's opinions on it. How did it make you feel, right? Allowing us to have a real, actual, like, human interaction conversation only builds the trust, but ultimately you still have to put the action in.
Yes.
Like, it's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And guys, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but you are going to drop the ball.
Yeah.
Like, you are. It's going to happen. But what you do after you drop the ball is important. You know, we talk about coaching timely, like timely coaching, timely feedback. Don't let this sit for more than a day.
Yeah.
Like, if you let it sit for more than a day, then it's going to be a whole lot harder for you to start these 3 steps.
Yeah.
So own it, talk about the impact
Right.
with the team or the stakeholders, and then change your behavior.
Walk the walk.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Riley.
Yes.
This has been good.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Appreciate you having me back.
Of course, guys. Thanks for
All right.
listening. Listen, learn, lead. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on Buns, Burgers, and Big Ideas. We hope today's episode inspired fresh ideas for your leadership journey. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and keep learning with us as we continue to explore leadership in the QSR world. Until next time, take care and lead well.